everyone. My name is Julianne Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. I hope you're all having a great week. I am so excited because it's beautiful and sunny out, and I get up before the sun. So typically when I get up, it's still cloudy. Anyway, enough about me. I'm really excited about my guest today. Her name is Janice Wood, and she is such a fascinating person. And she's not here for her fashion sense, although it needs to be noted. Let's bring her on. Hi, Janice. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Hi, Julianne. How are you doing today?
So good. I just love your glasses. They are just so amazing.
Depending upon your age group that you're in, I say this is my Elton John glasses.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. I can totally see that. That's amazing. So you and I, well, we don't know each other, but we do have a person in common who happens to be my boyfriend and your trainer, Drew. So
yeah, it's a fitness trainer, Drew.
Yes, exactly. And that's pretty awesome because that's how I discovered you in the first place and what you're up to and who you are. And I just knew that I needed to have you on the show. So welcome, as I said before, and I would love it if you would tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your own wellness journey.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to go back to Drew because I have to tell your audience that I'm 75 and a half years old, and I have what I call Drew, arms by Drew.
He's my trainer too.
He's your trainer too. Yes. Okay. And that's what I've told them. They're arms by Drew. Okay. So that's fun. So on my wellness journey, all of my life, I've done some form of exercise. And as you get older, it's harder to exercise. But exercise and nutrition is such an important part of life. As anybody out there that's in my age group or they're seniors, they know that, you wake up in the morning and go, where did that come? Okay. It wasn't there the night before. Or you go to the doctor and they tell you have something that you like, okay, how did that happen? But I really believe that of the statement, you are what you eat.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's so important. So over the many years, I worked for the city of Los Angeles for 36 years, and I was exposed to many different types of careers within the city. And in some areas, my last department I worked for was the fire department, and I was really fortunate. There was a gym right there because I was civilian, of course, but they had a gym right there because there were the firefighters were there because I worked in the dispatch center, and it was like a firehouse. So they had a workout area. So I had no excuse for not working out because, I'm home, I'm tired, and you're going to work out. So I've continued working out, as I said, through almost my whole life. I can remember as a teenager watching TV with my parents and sitting there and doing leg lifts. Okay. So that's just, I'm going back a long time. But exercise is so important. I don't know what else to say. It makes a difference in your life. I've been a jogger, and I used to run in 5Ks. I tore the meniscus in my knee, had surgery, and probably about 5 years ago, I started having problems with that knee. And so it's harder to do a long walk, but I've done alternative type of medicine to get the knee to work, like stem cells, okay? And it's just, just different things, but it's not quite the same. But I always hear seniors complaining about joint pains and stuff, and it wears out from use.
It does. But as you mentioned before, when you are careful with your diet and you eat well, that can actually reduce the inflammation. So that would help with the joint pain as well. So I'm glad that you brought that up because that is so important for any age, honestly.
Yeah, totally any age, because people don't realize, I hate picking on a tomato because if you get a really good tomato, they're wonderful, but
Yeah,
it creates inflammation.
they do
I don't,
typically, yes.
yeah, so many foods do create that inflammation, but also you get bone on bone.
Yeah. That's never good. And that's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, because I know you're a trainer yourself from Drew, okay? That think it just things can go wrong with your body. Doesn't matter how old you are.
No, it really doesn't matter. And it's kind of fascinating too, because I have a client who had a stroke about 3 years ago. And his balance has improved drastically, but this last week he hadn't been feeling well. And now like it's coming back again, but he lost his balance. I mean, not completely, he wasn't falling down, but just the fact that he was able to recover from that. It took him a little bit longer, but he was able to recover from that. And now he's back working out. I just love that. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Right. And I have a balance board.
Oh, yeah.
I get on the balance board and I balance because for seniors, breaking a hip, breaking a shoulder can be deadly.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if you know this, but I'm sorry, I did the same thing as you. um, that having balance is a sign of longevity. So that means your body's working well. So I'm really glad that you continue to work on that. What would be some tips for seniors that you would give them if they're starting to work out or they think, oh, I can't do this, it's too much? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to go extremely slow.
I like it.
Okay. I remember reading an article many years back about a lady that had a heart attack and she could barely make it from the living room to the kitchen. Okay. And after she had her heart attack, she said, well, I got up and I walked one house and turned around and came back. And then when she got comfortable with the one house, she moved on to two houses until she got comfortable. So I would say start slowly, do very simple exercises. And one of the easiest exercises for balance that I have been taught over the years is find a straight line on the floor and just walk the straight line. Yeah. Because it's not easy to do.
No, it really isn't. And then you can add weights to your hands. That adds a little bit more instability or one weight, depending on, your fitness level. But I love that. That's a really good tip. A really good one.
And because I think a lot of people get discouraged with working out because, okay, this is hard. I can't do this. I mean, and as Drew says, there's no such word as can't. Okay. You can do this, but I work out at one level and somebody who's never worked out at another level is not going to be able to work out at the same level as me.
Exactly. Apples and oranges.
Right.
And haven't you noticed too that a lot of times people tend to compare themselves now to when they were younger and expect themselves to still be able to do exactly the same things at the same levels of stamina?
Oh, I do that all the time. I want to know why I can't do what I did a month ago.
Yeah. No, I understand. But do you think that maybe that kind of an attitude would either hinder or help somebody, or does it depend on the person?
You know what? I think it depends upon the person. I think it depends upon how you think about it inside your head. If you say, I can't do it or it's too hard, you're not going to do it because you're not accepting the challenge of it. Working out while you're doing it feels like you're being tortured. Okay. And then there are times when I work out, things start feeling better. Things start moving, those joints. Just, it's like lubricant. I don't know how else to explain it. It starts all that stuff like you're putting oil on a hinge. And that's what exercise is. So I just think it's, you have to change your mindset. And the problem is only you can change your mindset for yourself. You can't change it for somebody else. So, but you have to want to do it.
No, that's a really good point. And that's something that I'm always talking about on this show, is that it all comes back down to mindset, because if that part's not right, it doesn't matter what you do. So I'm wondering, there seems to be like a tipping point where, you feel like you can't. And then all of a sudden it's okay again. And then you feel like you can. What would you tell somebody who hasn't quite gotten to that point where it becomes second nature to push through, or it becomes second nature to just go to the gym or to eat healthy? What would your advice be?
Well, eating healthy to me is a completely separate issue. Okay. Start going to the gym. Maybe going to the gym isn't the correct thing for you, because not everybody I know wants to be in one of those big gyms and you're hearing all those weights go boom. Okay. I've been in the gyms long enough in my life, okay, to hear that. Maybe a smaller boutique type gym is better for you. Or with a lot of people who are 65 and above, they may have Medicare plans that provide exercise programs for them. So I would say look into those exercise programs, but start at their level. And at that level is just walking from the bedroom to the bathroom 6 or 7 times. That's fine. And then increase it, the steps each time. It's just like a baby. First, you have to get up and rock, and then you crawl, and then you practice standing up.
Exactly. No, I love that, because I know a lot of people get discouraged before they even start. So I love the idea of just take it down a notch. Make sure you can do your first step.
Yeah, because yes, what you talked about earlier, can we do what we did when we were 20 years old? No. Can I do what I did when I was 30 or 40? No. But you can't go by somebody like me, because I've exercised my whole life. So I know a little bit more about exercising. But if you're totally starting out for the first time and your doctor has told you you've got to start that exercising, do it in small baby steps.
I love that.
And then you'll build up to it. And of course, I like working out with a trainer because it makes me move to the next step.
I love that too, because I don't consider it a luxury. I consider it's for one, it's safer that way. For two, you can build stronger, faster. And three, if you're me, even though I'm a personal trainer, I probably won't go to the gym. I'm not much of a gym person unless I'm working. I like to work out outside. I like to run outside. I like to do that. So I have a trainer because then I'm going to work out.
Well, yeah, you have your own built-in trainer.
I do, which is pretty lucky. But before him, I paid somebody to train me. So even when I was a trainer, I paid somebody at my gym to train me. So,
but one of the things from being a gym person, not all trainers are equal. Okay, and it's important. And when I first started working out with Drew, his first question he had to me was, what do you consider important in a trainer? And my answer was, somebody who's watching me to see what I'm doing to make sure I'm not hurting myself. Because in exercising, if you're not exercising properly or have the right form, you can injure yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And from being a gym, a gym bunny. I don't know what else to call it. Okay, throughout my adulthood, it's just you see trainers. They're off. I call it in la la land. They're not even paying attention to their clients. So you want to make sure you have someone that's paying attention to you. And also, paying attention also means listening to you when you say, this is really hard. Now, when your trainer knows, you can move on to the next step because he's paid attention and encourage you. But there's a difference in, are you actually in a bad pain? I call it working out pain. There's good pain and bad pain.
Exactly.
Big smile from you. And, I do a lot of business network marketing. And one day I came in and somebody said, I heard you can do stuff that I can't do because we have the same trainer. Okay. And I'm probably 30 years older than that person.
Oh, wow.
Saying, okay, I can do push-ups and they can't.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I've had fun up until the pandemic time with about 3 guys that work out with Drew doing crunches, which are sit-ups, okay? I could do more than these young guys can do.
I love that.
And I don't know about right now if I could do that, but at that time, I was their inspiration.
You know what? And I like that you said that because inspiration comes in different places and it's not always where you expect it to be. And I don't know about you, but I've never been inspired by that perfect looking person in the corner that's more concerned with how they look like in the mirror than their actual exercise. I would rather be inspired by you, somebody who can do push-ups, because what is it? 17 push-ups. When you're 40 years old, the top tier is 17 push-ups in a row. That is like the number one. That's the quantity of like the best. So the fact that you're doing push-ups is amazing.
I can do 12.
I love that. Wow, that's really good. No, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
So what would you say for somebody who wants to find a trainer? How should they go about looking for somebody? Or I mean, I happen to know the answer, but I want to hear what you have to say. Like, can you try them out? Or what would you recommend for somebody who's not sure if it's going to be a good fit?
Okay, first I would ask some of my friends who they work out, if any of them work out, because getting a good referral is better because you know who the known quantity. If you're going to one of the big gyms that are available, I would go in and watch trainers. I would see what they're doing. And of course, those gyms all have packages. I would start with that and then see if it's the right fit. I've had friends tell me, oh, Janice, you know more about working out than my trainer does, which is pretty sad.
It's a little scary, honestly, because as you mentioned, you can get hurt. So It's kind of important for your trainer to know what they're doing. And something else I want to mention too is that they should be certified.
Absolutely be certified. But I want to talk, I have an aunt that's going to be 94 next month, and she goes to the gym 4 times a week.
I love that.
I have to talk about her. She is amazing.
I love that because it's kind of like, well, what's your excuse? She's 94 and she's going. What's mine? What excuse do I have for not going? So, I love hearing stories like that because it shows what's possible.
It's possible. And she looks fantastic.
I love that so
fantastic. Much. I have no idea if she does push-ups or whatever she does, but she's got a little tiny waist and she's so cute.
And almost 100. Oh my goodness. That's so crazy.
Yeah, but helping her get through those stages, working out, going to the gym, swimming those laps have made a difference in her life.
Absolutely. And, it's also a place to go, and it's a social thing as well. And just getting out of your house, because I've been stuck at home mostly because of COVID and working from home mostly, except for some of my training clients. I go to their place, but, it's not the same. It's not the same anymore. I miss being out and about, and I miss, having that interaction with people. And yeah, I think it's important. It's more than just the exercise.
It's definitely more than just the exercise. But as you were saying, during this pandemic, that I've been working out over Zoom with Drew. I've been really fortunate because over the years I've collected exercise stuff. I have the balls. I've had certain things in the house, and there's another lady that sometimes we work out with. And when we first started out, she was taking like detergent or bleach gallons and using those to work out. So there are things that you can work out with to start with that's really simple. And I mean, I think 15-pound weights now. So we can
I love it.
So we can do it.
Yeah. Well, something else that you mentioned too is for those people that aren't sure about what kind of exercise they want to start with anyway, then that means they don't have to make a huge investment. A bleach bottle doesn't cost the same as a weight. So you should probably already have a bleach bottle anyway.
Right. You have a bleach bottle. I mean, you can use, let's say, something like a bottle of water or a can if you're not used to using those muscles. So you pick up a can that you have, a soup can. I'm just throwing out ideas, and use that. Or a water bottle. Most people have some kind of plastic water bottle or that Coke can, okay? And use that to start off with. It's something, it's easy and it's not hard. Again, if you're a senior, most of your Medicare Advantage plans have built-in exercise program. That's part of it.
Is that Silver Sneakers?
Silver Sneakers, there's a couple more out there. Okay.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. So
well, I just wanted to say too that with Silver Sneakers, at least the gym that I worked at before the pandemic started, they accepted Silver Sneakers, and it was it's a boutique gym, but it was a nice gym. So it's not like you're going to end up in some ratty place or anything. You can end up in a place that's nice up to your own standards. So,
and there's other people in those classes that are going to haven't worked out either.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about somebody coming in and standing in front of the mirror, flexing their muscles. Okay. Or,
I know that.
or that 30-year-old or 20-year-old that looks great in all those outfits. You're going to find other people in your age group. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And work out at your level. So one of the things I know from all the years of working out is that, consult with your doctor at what level they think you should start with, okay? Yeah. And then go from there. I mean, if you have a health condition, I would talk to the doctor first before you started out. But if they told me I couldn't work out, I would be so upset.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, it's such a part of your life that would just be taking a chunk of you away.
Just 1 second. It's like everybody's come alive.
That's all right. So something else that, you said you should speak with your doctor, but another thing that I want to mention too is to make sure you communicate with your trainer about what kind of limitations you have and what you're trying to work on, because they should, and if it's something that's a little bit more delicate, then they should talk to your doctor about it too, so that, you don't end up getting hurt. I think that's very important too, because, we had one of my clients had open heart surgery. So we had to be very careful with him for a while after that. Now he's back to normal, but.
Right. But there's easy things to do working out. I mean, it doesn't have to be with weights. You can use exercise bands.
Yeah. Or even just, well, yeah, that's actually probably a little bit less strenuous than body weight. So I do like that one.
Yeah. But there
Sorry, go
are
ahead.
some simple things that you can just do. But again, if you're working out with a trainer, which I would recommend to anybody, okay, is to work out with a trainer. Again, just like Julianne said, communicate to them what your medical background is, what your issues are right now, because they can have exercises that can work around. Like me, my knee can be an issue. So we have to make sure that that's taken care of. Now, one of the things that I've been working out at home on Zoom, and what we've done, I use a step ladder. And what I've done, because I have ceramic tile in the room that I work out in, I take my my mat that I have, and instead of going up and down on that tile, I go on the mat to make sure that those joints aren't getting that.
I love that. Yeah, that jarring. Yeah, no.
Going on, because it may not be your knees, but it may be your hip.
Exactly. We do need to go to commercial break. So Janice, thank you so much. We'll be right back in just a moment. Okay. Isn't she amazing? Oh, what great spirit and energy. I knew I wanted her on this show. I'm so glad we finally were able to make it happen. For those of you who are watching live, I just want to say hello and thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are watching at home at a later date, hello and thank you for watching us. But we do have to go to commercial break, so we'll be right back after these messages.
When drug or alcohol addiction take over, things begin to disappear. Your friends, your family, and eventually, you. Recommended by Dr. Phil, New Method Wellness can help get your life back with individualized treatment plans for dual diagnosis clients. New Method Wellness provides the most highly credentialed treatment in a safe and welcome environment. Call New Method Wellness for your free consultation and ask about our national accreditations. Together, we can put the pieces back together.
Hello, welcome back. My name is Julianne Meyer, and this is Own Your Wellness. And today's guest is Janice Wood, and I just want to bring her back and continue our conversation. Hello, Janice. Welcome back.
Okay, great. This has been fun so far.
Hasn't it? Yeah. So something I want to touch on is you have a show of your very own, and you know what? It's amazing. And I think that I really want people to know about it. So would you mind sharing a little bit about what it is that you do?
I have a show that's called the Senior Citizens Forum, and we post on Thursdays. We're doing a little revamping of the show right now, but we post on Thursday. We're back again on July 1st. I bring people in that have subjects that I think are interesting to seniors, but one of the things I have found, it also applies to people that are not seniors. So, but it's definitely for seniors. I am a licensed insurance agent, and I specialize in Medicare insurance, and I also do regular health insurance, but my expertise is really Medicare. And every so often I'll do a Medicare 101 class on there, but I have anywhere from people coming on talking about nutrition. I've had Drew on talking about physical fitness. I've had people talking about hormones and all of those type things. I've had life insurance agents that talk about life insurance. Last week we did a show where someone came on and talked about the computers, privacy and security for your computers, okay? And it's just, I can go on and on. I have a lady that comes on every so often, and she talks about what to look at for assisted living for your loved one who may need to go into an assisted living place. So we cover a lot of different subjects, and we talk about food.
You know, I just love that, because a lot of those topics are, where do you go? Like, how do you find assisted living? Those are things that nobody teaches you. There's no class for that. And then, you know, most people don't want to go searching on the internet, and they don't even if they do, what are they looking for? So I appreciate that you are so willing to provide people with information that is actually vital. These are, you know, things that people need. So that's pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, and as senior citizens, so we're looking at some other options. We're always trying to find another option to bring on. Doctors are hard to bring on. They don't want to come on. I don't know if that's just an ethic code that they have, but it's been interesting, and I learn a lot. The platform is a little bit different because I have to do a lot of research before I go in, so I know what they're talking about. I can have a conversation. So it was like last week I had to look up, the privacy, what's going on with that, what's happening, and come up with some statistics. And it's not hard to find. It's there and available. Assisted living, I have learned from my show that a lot of the stuff, when you go in and you do it on your search engine, you're going to find a lot of it is advertisement.
Yeah.
So where's the right way to go? Do people need to be certified? And I've learned that there are certified assisted living brokers out there. So it's been an interesting journey.
So what are some other things that you've learned from your show from guests?
Well, from guests, we talked about seniors, especially women, are very conscious of it. I see the commercials of men losing your hair. Okay, that I have a chiropractor. I don't know if you know about Dr. Amber. She'll come in and she'll talk about nutrition and hormones, because that's more of her expertise besides alignment. So she'll give us like collagen. You need to use collagen, what you can do for it. Women are always concerned. And as we get older, we're losing our hair.
It happens. It definitely happens.
And you can't help it. It's just the hormones in your body change. So we have a lot of interesting stuff in that way. And she's come on and talked about hormones. We've come in and we've talked about, of course, alignment of the body. So there's different things I've learned. It's so vast, okay? Life insurance. There's so many commercials out there about, I have life insurance policies. What am I going to do with them? So because that's not my expertise in the insurance world, I brought on a life insurance agent that it's his expertise. And then social media. That's a new world for seniors. Not everybody's like me. Okay.
That's true.
This is a scary proposition. No, you're going into this world. Uh, how safe is it to be on social media? So we talk about that. And I think you've had on the guest, Kayla Adabi has been your guest. And she's come on and she's talked about the social media aspects of it for us and for seniors to use. And I know for this last year, using social media like this, it's been forced on a lot of seniors because it's been the only way maybe they've been able to stay in contact with their family and their grandchildren. All of a sudden, grandchildren become a huge part of your life, okay? How do you stay in touch with them? You have to get on here and look. Oh my God, I can't go to the bank anymore. Can I do my banking online? So we've talked about that and the securities of doing that and how to protect yourself. We've also talked about those phone calls that come in.
Yes.
Okay? Those, I call them irritants. What kind of irritating thing do you want from me? Okay. One of the things I want to say, and I try to say this as often as I can, Social Security, Medicare, the IRS are not going to call you on the phone.
No.
They're not going to do it. And if anybody calls asking you for your personal information, don't give it to them because you don't know who they are. And
Exactly.
I had experience about 18 months ago where I got a call from somebody saying, this is AT&T. And all of a sudden they were asking me for personal information. I'm like, wait a second, you called me. You should have that information, okay? And then I called AT&T and they said, we never called you.
Yep.
Very careful about who you're giving your personal information to. I haven't received this phone call, but I have one of my girlfriends got a phone call from someone who said they were a lawyer and that they were representing one of her grandsons who was in jail, and they wanted her to wire money to them. It was a scam, and she caught on to it.
That's so smart because, younger people just know stuff like this. And so for them, it's just second nature. But people who are seniors didn't grow up in this world. I mean, I was the kind of person where I bought my first home before I bought my first cell phone. So I've got one foot in one side and one foot in the other.
Right.
But, even my dad, who is, in my mind, he's brilliant. And he can figure out a lot of stuff, but there's certain things that he just doesn't care enough about, that he doesn't want to figure out on his own. But if somebody will explain it to him, then you know what? Great. So right. I'm so glad that you're doing this. I'm curious, do you have your episodes available after the fact, or is it just live?
We are podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Okay. And we're looking for other platforms to start putting us out on.
What's the name of your show?
One of the other things we did, my stepdaughter and her wife have a farm in Haleiwa on Oahu.
Oh, wow.
We did a tour of the farm, so you're going to find that on there. Okay.
I love it.
That was a lot of fun for the Lokia farms because they do tours every Friday.
Oh, I love that. And I can't remember, what's the name of your show?
My name of my show is the Senior Citizens Forum.
I'm going to put this up for people to look at.
Yeah, it's a Senior Citizens Forum. It's presented by Benefits for You Too Insurance Services, and I am the host.
Love it. There we go. Does that look right?
It's a Senior Citizens Forum.
Okay. All right. So we'll put that away. So tell me more. Tell me, what are some of the things that, we were talking a little bit about nutrition before and how important that is. And, about how tomatoes, you didn't want to pick on them, but they are a nightshade, so that they do cause inflammation. What are some other surprising things that you've found with food that maybe other people aren't aware of?
Well, it's just about, I'm trying to go back, about 3 years ago, I was on the freeway and I heard this horrible story that was being told about how they kill pigs and chickens.
Yeah.
And it was just horrible. Plus all the antibiotics that are in the food from animals.
Yep.
All right. And that's always been very surprising because you think what you have that you're eating is really healthy. It's not healthy. So I stopped eating meat and chicken and tried to be a vegan. It's not always easy.
No, it's not.
It's not. And because seniors they love their sweets. Okay. But sweets are not good for you.
No.
So
And they're inflammatory as well. So that's something else to keep in mind if you have joint issues and joint pain.
Absolutely. Okay. So I went to become a vegan. Every once in a while, you get pulled because it's around you. I live with a person that he could care less about any of this. All right. And I have potato chips calling my name, but I have to stop and say, that salt is really bad for me. Or that sugar, everything turns to sugar. So if you're a diabetic and you're looking at pastas and you're looking at all of this stuff, it turns to sugar. Mm-hmm. And one of the surprising things that turns to sugar is fruit.
Mm-hmm. It does. It absolutely does. And I mean, if you're going to pick your poison, it's still better to have fruit than it is to have a piece of candy. But definitely, I understand where you're going with that.
Well, so it's not easy because I can tell people that my own health issues also come from your genetics. And I'm like the fourth generation straight in a row that has diabetes. Wow. And it's really one of the things that I have found, and we've talked about this on my show, okay? We talk about you go someplace and somebody said, just eat this. One time isn't going to hurt you. But if you happen to have health issues, specifically diabetes, yes, it is. It is going to hurt you.
And something else, too, that I think is worth mentioning is you never know. That could be a trigger food. That might only be one time for you, but that could open the floodgates for somebody like me where I don't get to have one. Like if I have ice cream in my house, I'll eat the whole thing. There's no off switch. I know it's there. If there's cheese in my house, I'm going to be like a little gremlin in the night going out to eat my cheese. Even if I'm not hungry, I will wake up and eat it. So one little piece or one little, no, it doesn't work like that. If I could stop at one little whatever, then that would be one thing, but it's a trigger food. So that's something else to mention.
And it's not easy because the commercials that we see on television, okay, when you go to somebody's home, you go into a restaurant, all this delicious looking stuff is looking at you. And not only is it high, it could be high in sugar, just regular sitting down and eating a salad that's delicious. How much salt does it have in it?
Yeah, exactly. Or that salad dressing, how much sugar is in there?
Right. And, if you have high blood pressure, you don't need that salt.
Yeah.
And if you're borderline diabetic, you don't need that stuff that converts to sugar. And almost everything converts to sugar, I have found.
It does. And that's the thing too, is your brain eats sugar, but you've got to be careful about what kind of sugar you're putting in and how much, just in general. It doesn't matter if it's coming from fruit or candy. You got to be careful about how much you're actually ingesting for so many reasons. And then something else I was thinking about too, when you were talking about the animals, is what people don't think about is you are what you eat, and you're also what you eat eats. So all those antibiotics, you're ingesting those as well. I mean, they didn't eat those, but they were injected with them. So you're eating those antibiotics, and then you become there's an immunity that builds up in your body. So when you need it, they don't work because you've already ingested all these antibiotics.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
People don't think about that.
No.
So even the people that we're talking to right now that are younger, you're taking in all those antibiotics from the food, from that delicious hamburger, okay?
Yeah.
Or even fish that's high in mercury, okay? You're taking all that into your body, and then when you actually really need it, it's not going to work for you. Because I've had a lot of experience now with friends or clients who will say, well, that antibiotic doesn't work for you anymore. Well, do you think maybe it's been the food that you've been eating that's not working for you?
Yeah, no, exactly. I love that. I just love that you're talking about this, because have you noticed too, when you eat things that aren't as good for you, you don't feel as well.
Yes.
And it affects your energy. It does me anyway. It affects my energy.
Well, that takes me to sleeping. When you eat foods that are not good for you, maybe you're not sleeping well. And it's that food that you really loved at that time, or that alcoholic drink, which is totally high in sugar, okay? And that will create, I don't sleep well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think of that, especially with alcohol, because people are like, oh, well, I slept great, but they don't get that deep level of sleep. It's more like a lower level, the less quality.
Yeah. So it's just, so much affects us and what we do. So if you're not sleeping well, of course, you're not going to have the energy you need the next day.
Exactly. And the more tired you are, the harder it is to make healthier choices. All of a sudden, it seems much more of a good idea to go through that drive-through, or, whatever the case may be. And then it's like, oh, I already had a bad meal. I might as well just keep going, So yeah, I think that's something to think about too, because granted, it only takes one good decision to get right back on track, but it seems a lot harder to make that first good decision than it does to keep making them.
It's hard to go back on track. And you have to look at food. I have to look at food that's calling my name.
Exactly.
That it's calling their name and say, you're going to kill me. Do I want to live to see this happen? You have to find a way to talk to yourself out of it. Yes, I know it's absolutely delicious. And I'm talking right now from experience, because we always have macaroni and cheese in the house. Oh my God, it is so good, especially made with all different types of cheeses. It is so good. But if it's a processed food that you're getting from the store that's being delivered to you, or buying it in the store, there's stuff in it that you shouldn't be eating. Yeah. Okay. If it tastes really good, I will guarantee you it has a lot of good salt in it. And I was like, this tastes really good. It's got to have salt in it, okay? And it's hard. It's hard when everybody else around you doesn't care.
Yeah, that is tough. And that's when it's kind of important to try and find at least somebody that you can do this journey with. It doesn't even have to be the person you live with. It could be a friend that you can call. Or I know with me, when I was starting my business, I needed an accountability partner. So I found one to keep me on track. Same thing with food.
Well, that's the same thing like with working out with a trainer. It's somebody that you can answer to. And they can say, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. Or if you have a friend that can tell you.
Well, that made me think too, if you have a good trainer, they're going to be asking you about what you're eating. That should be something that they're asking you about, because they understand how important it is to fuel your body properly. So, you know, that would be another thing I would say to look for when they're trying to find someone, is that.
Yeah, really important. You're the only person that can take care of your health. And that person who comes up to you and says, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. And from somewhere inside, you have to find, well, do I want to be in the hospital, or do I want to be back at the next party?
Exactly. And, you know, it's not even, I mean, at least for me, one of the main reasons that gets me to stop eating the junk food is my quality of life. Do I want to be alive and just surviving, or do I want to be alive and thriving? That's always something.
I like that. And it's not easy. I don't know what else to say.
It's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, you smoke cigarettes, okay? You can drink alcohol, but all of those two items, you can live without. You can't live without eating food.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not you can't give it up cold turkey.
Right. You can't give it up. It's there. Now, is eating a piece of celery or a carrot as good as eating those chips in the box? No, the chips in the box are more exciting, okay? Or in the bag. I mean, how exciting is celery and carrots?
You know what, though? One nice thing, though, is that when you start eating healthier, your taste buds do start to change, and it becomes easier to eat those healthy foods, and you start to enjoy them more. The further down the rabbit hole you go, as they say.
Right. And I know during the pandemic, I have more people I know were baking bread.
Yeah, I know. That turned into a thing that was all over the internet. Everybody was posting pictures of their bread.
Yeah. So I would go to another stepdaughter's house, and her husband was into baking bread. It was delicious. But did I need it? No. Was it good for me? Absolutely not. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. There's well, I don't know if he's a doctor, but anyway, no, he's not a doctor, but he's an author, and his name is Michael Pollan, and he's written a lot of books about food. And one of them is Food Rules. And it's this tiny little book, like about this big. And it's something I always recommend to my clients. And one of the rules in it, because it's a good place to start with how to start changing your diet. But one of the rules in there is you can have as much junk food as you want, as long as you make it from scratch yourself.
Yeah, because you know what's in it. And then one of the rules I do for myself is, if I read the labels on the packages and I can't pronounce the word, then I don't need to be eating it.
Exactly. It's a food-like substance at that point.
Right.
Well, we only have about a minute left. So is there any parting thoughts you would like to leave with our audience?
I would just say, look at your inner self. You can do it. It's not easy. Think positive that you can make the changes, and listen to shows like this that help reinforce this fact that you can do it and you can make that change. So you can get down there and play with your children, also get down and play with your grandchildren, and it will make a difference in your life.
I love that. Well, Janice, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show today. It has been so much fun. I really enjoy your input and your knowledge, and hopefully we'll be able to have you back on the show again.
Yes, and I'd like to have you come on my show.
I would be honored to. Thank you so much for joining us today, Janice. Have a great night.
Thank you. All right.
Oh, love her. She's amazing. You got to check out her show. But we are out of time. So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye for now, and we will see you next week.